Hello and welcome. My name's Leanne. I live in Australia and this is my crafty cupboard. Good morning, everyone. It's been a while, but I'm finally back creating the B of my dictionary of stitchery. I'm in stitchery. Create and Craft with Christine's channel is where to go to join in this stitch along. So each day Christine shares one new stitch with us, following the alphabet, and it's just a really wonderful way to expand our stitch repertoire. And so I'm currently doing a scalloped blanket stitch. So it's just blanket stitch, but it goes in little scallops, and I thought that would be a good fit here along the curved edge of the B. I'm stitching with pearl cotton. It's a number 8 and from Wonderfill. So this is a variegated cotton. That's what I'll be doing throughout my dictionary, is just using one variegated cotton for each letter. It just takes away decisions and makes it more focused on the actual stitching. I wanted to give myself a brain rest as I do this. And the numbering of the colour, in case you're interested, is EZM 1055. And so the scallop blanket stitch has longer stitches at the end, and then as it curves around they get shorter to the shortest one in the middle, and then working longer again up until the edge. So I'm just doing a couple of scallops here in that curved edge of the B. I've just drawn some rough shapes onto the B with a self-disappearing pen, and I had backstitched the B to begin with. Now, interestingly, I was not aware that there are 2 ways to backstitch until I watched this series from Christine. So if you only know of one way to backstitch, join in so you can see the other way to backstitch that Christine shares. Okay, so now I'm attempting to do braid stitch. And what I'm getting confused by is it doesn't seem to be anchored at the top. This is actually my second attempt. It's anchored well at the bottom, but that top, it can just move. Can you see how that's happening? I'm going to undo that. It just can't be right. I have to watch the video again. So I wanted to show you that the top's not anchored in any way, and so you can actually pull it really easily and it all becomes loose. Okay, so back to the drawing board. I did a bit more research watching the video again, and noticed you have to do very tiny stitches for this to work, and that they have to be close together. So I'm just redrawing my lines a lot skinnier. Let's give this a go and see if that makes a difference. I don't have much confidence here about this, but we'll see what happens. I always find it awkward which way to hold my thread and fabric when I'm doing these new stitches. It's nice when you've gotten into the flow a bit. Alright, so that goes there, and I pull the thread tight around the needle. Pull it through. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so this time I'm going to go closer than I did on my last attempts. Closer to the other stitch, I mean. That's already there. Pull the needle through. Well, not through, but tight around the... Not pull the needle through, I mean... What am I talking about? Pull this thread tight around the needle, then you can pull the needle through. Yep. Okay. That does seem to be holding better. It's still not anchored at the top, but I guess because it's smaller. It's just sort of sitting there nicely. Okay, I'm going to keep stitching this and I'll be back. I've really got the hang of this now, so it's going well. I'm going to do it all the way down to the circle I've drawn at the bottom. Pesky corner. So that's sort of just forming, you know, a straightish, I'm going to say straightish, edge all the way down. Certainly works much better having it smaller. I think you could probably go smaller again. That's what it looks like so far. Okay, so I finished the braid stitch. Now I'm just doing blanket stitch pinwheel. So with this one you just go down in the centre, come up on the edge, and that forms a little loop, which when they all join together makes a nice circle flower. So that's the first pinwheel done. That's what it looks like. Okay, so in these pinwheels I've just left the centre a bit more open, so I'm just drawing a circle. And so instead of going all the way into the centre, you just start on the circle and it just leaves the centre open for a bit more visual interest, so they're not all the same. It's just the same process as before, you're just not going all the way to the centre. Righto, moving on, and now we're doing a chain stitch, a detached chain that has a bullion on top of it to form the little petal. But unlike when, like say normal bullion, you're going to pull your thread sort of back down to your starting point. This one you take it out. So you leave your needle in there. And then wrap your bullion wraps around. Hang on to them. Pull it through. Oops, let them go a little bit. I'll see if I can get away with it. Ish. So bullion wraps. Pull it through. And then you stitch it to the outer edge of the circle. Take the needle down. Okay, I'm going to carry on with these. And I'll be back when this is done. Just finishing that flower up now with the last stitch. There it is. I quite like that. It's very effective. Okay, on to these little, this is the German knotted blanket stitch. So you do 2 blanket stitches and then just run your thread underneath the 2 and pull them together. This is the little one that looks like paper dolls, all holding hands. Very sweet. So you do a blanket stitch and then another blanket stitch. Hang on. Run your needle under both. And that's sort of what knots them together. It's a cute stitch, I like that. Okay, now I'm just doing some bullions, just some straight bullions to make like a rosebud. So I'll just finish this one off and then I'll come back and show you the roses as well. Okay, so that's the finished bullion rows. And now moving on to basket weave stitch. So I just did the series of straight stitches going across, and now these stitches weave under and over, and then the next time you do the opposite. So you're weaving together the stitch. I've kept mine quite open, but I imagine it would be very, very effective if you did the stitches closer together. Make it like a more solid basket. So I'm going to keep stitching this one, and I'll be back. So now I'm working on the basket weave. Sorry, not basket weave. This is honeycomb. Mine's not turning out very honeycomb-ish looking. And I think that's just because my stitches are too close together, and that they should be sort of further apart because they're a bit long and skinny. My little hexagons are turning out, so I'd like to have a go with this one again on another piece. It's still a very effective pattern. I quite like it. It's just not as honeycomb as it should be. To finish up, I'm just labelling the stitches I used. This is a sort of a permanent marking pen from the same range I used on the A, just using a pink to match the cotton this time, so I can remember what the different stitches are if I want to stitch them again, or perhaps research them again about how to stitch them next time I want to use them, because I'm sure it'll take a few goes to sort of commit them to memory and for them to come naturally. I want to thank Christine so much for this fabulous stitch along. Do go and check out all of her videos. I'll link the playlist in the description box so you can see all of the stitches and enjoy learning some new stitches for yourself as well. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.